It is an honor and a pleasure for me to introduce our speaker today. This phenomenal woman has 14 years of property investment experience. She has facilitated over 120 property deals. Do you think you're here to learn from the right person? Mrs. Sylvia Milosevic.
Here this evening because they are ready to change their lives. Can I see with the show of hands? Beautiful. Who's saying, I came this afternoon because I'd like to learn how to invest in property to leave a legacy for my children and children's children? Who's going to tell me the truth and, upfront and tell me from the beginning and say, Sylvia, I'm sick and tired of my job? I don't believe there's only 4 hands. Okay, let me rephrase the question. Maybe it didn't come out well. Who here is saying, and they'll be honest with me, that they're sick and tired of their job? Yes. Who's going to say I'm sick and tired of being broke? Yes. Fantastic. If you said yes to any of those questions, you must have been at the right place.
Full-time property investor. I am a trainer, I'm a coach, I'm a mentor. I have also facilitated in the last few years, over 120 property deals. Do you think you'll learn a lot from a person like that?
Yes.
Do you think you'll learn a lot from a person?
Yes.
Absolutely. So today I do multiple strategies. I do the flipping strategies. Majority of the time I'm focusing into big flips. I'm also a residential developer as well, ladies and gentlemen. So you are in the right place, okay? Taking massive action now is the glue that puts everything together for you.
That's what we do at the training. We sit you down and teach you how to structure deals like this from A to Z, so you're empowered. Does that make sense?
Who loves the sound of the legacy? Who wants to leave a legacy so great that it lives beyond their lifetime and the next one? Who wants to do that for their families? That's why you're here. Good for you. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you good news. Do you want to hear some good news? Some good gospel news? Poverty can end in your bloodline through property, and you have the power to make it so.
Do you believe that having the support will be the fastest way to get there? Absolutely. They didn't go out there and figure it out by themselves for 8 years. No, we've done all the mistakes and we've got the formula that from day one they're learning the right formula on what to do. It's like, this is what you do, follow this step, after this step, this step. And when you follow all those steps, these are the results. It's a structured approach. Does that make sense?
So in property, there's a lot of strategies. There's about 15 different strategies that you can utilize.
The best way and the right way of investing in properties, the first thing you need to be asking yourself is, what is my strategy? What is it that I want from property? Property can offer you different things. So you need to identify from day one, what is it that I want? Do I want to invest in property for the sole purpose of getting a cash flow? Or am I interested to start investing in property because my strategies are one cash? So that means that you'll be looking at doing flips and getting a profit. So you need to identify from the beginning, what is it that you want from property and what is it that property can do for you?
Hi, this is Sylvia Milosevic. I am CEO and founder of Wealth Alliance Group, the company that has brought you riches and beyond. I'm a successful property investor, I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm also a TV personality. I've changed lives of over 40,000 people here in South Africa, and our company has helped them raise over $500 million worth of funding for their deals. I have achieved an incredible lifestyle that many people would look at my life, including me, and go, how? How did that happen? You see, I took myself from a struggling childhood and built up myself from there to today running a multi-million rand business. From a woman who really didn't own her voice, have her voice, or even had discovered her voice and was riddled with self-doubt, to today, touching the lives of over 40,000 people, teaching them on how they can take charge of their financial future. I am grateful for my journey and I live a life that's beyond recognizable from the woman I was 20 years ago. Thank you guys for joining me today on how to generate profits in property during this climate. This webinar is all about teaching you the step-by-step on how to do this. Let's get through firstly some quick house rules. Make sure that you close down all your screens on your laptop and all the internet screens, and make sure that you get this screen full on your laptop. Switch off your cell phone, close the door. This is your time for self-work. This is your time you're investing in yourself for your education so you can change your life. And what I'll also encourage you to do is take out your pen, take out your notepad, make sure you take as many notes as possible, because it has been scientifically proven that while you're listening in during an event and you're taking down notes, that your brain will retain 47% of the information that's been shared. So now, let's go through the agenda. Today I'm going to show you some of the most amazing strategies I've used to achieve success in property investing. Who do you need to have in your team? How to spot opportunities and turn them into profits. How to navigate and thrive now during these conditions and emerge powerfully even post this pandemic. And above all, how to take control over your financial situation and change your life and the lives of people around you. Now, are you ready for this, guys? If you're ready for this event, if you're ready for the webinar, I want you to type in yes in chat. And then at the end of the session, we'll make sure we give you a good Q&A session for you to ask all the questions that you have. But first things first, I'm going to ask you to have an open mind and be willing to receive new information. Type in yes if you are ready. And secondly, I'm going to ask you to commit to staying till the end of the webinar, as I have a special gift for you. And it's a book I wrote on the 10 ways on how you can raise funds towards your property deals. You see, many people might know me as a successful property entrepreneur, as a successful businesswoman, but what a lot of people do not know about me is I come from very humble beginnings, grew up in a beautiful, loving family where my father was the only breadwinner at home, and he worked hard for us. He afforded us a great, great, great lifestyle. And one day my father came home and he got fired. He was fired, and our lives was never the same. We went from a family that had money to not knowing where money was going to come from, a family that had food to not knowing even where food was going to come from. If my father had a dream, his dream had turned into his worst nightmare. Now I remember the time I was 16 years old. It was in 1999. And I was planning to go to university, but I knew that it was going to be even a challenge for me to go there now. And there was this particular day that I vividly still have in my memory when my father had just came home. He went out there looking for a job. He came home and all he did was sit on his favorite chair. And as he was sitting on his chair, he started saying words. He started saying things like, "My wife, I want to apologize to you." And as he was saying all these words, he was crying. He said, "I have failed you, I have failed you, I have failed my children. The one thing that as a man I'm supposed to do, which is to look after you and our children, I'm unable to do it." Now, as a 16-year-old girl, witnessing her father, listening to those words coming from his mouth, it did something in me. It shook me to the core. It broke me inside. It felt like what had just happened, what has happened to our life. But the most painful part was having to witness my own father, my hero, the man I looked up to, my role model, having to witness my father lose himself to depression, deep depression, and becoming alcoholic did something to me. Have you ever been through a time in your life where you felt like something happened to your life and you just had no control over the situation, like someone just took something under your feet and you had no control over that? If you felt like that, I want you right now to type into chat and say, Yana. Yana means Y-A-N-A. You're not alone. So I know I'm not alone. And at that point of my life, being 16 years old, I remember promising myself, and I said, Sylvia, when you grow up, you will never ever rely on a job as a source of security. How can you work all your life and just like that, it be taken away from you? And I also, secondly, promised myself that I would never ever rely on anyone else to look after me, that I am my own rescue. Now, I didn't know what my future held. I didn't know. But I kept on praying, I kept on having faith. Now, when I turned 18 years old, I stepped out. I had an opportunity and I started working as a casino dealer at Monte Casino. And fast forward, when I turned 21 years old, I had a great opportunity to can go and work overseas. And for my 21st birthday, what my parents did for me, which was something amazing, instead of holding or creating or, providing for my 21st birthday, they did something even more powerful than that. They bought me a book, and the book was on property. And I read that book for 3 days. I could not put it down. And when I closed that book, I had my huge aha moment. I had found something that I could dedicate my life to. I had found the answer I've been praying for, and that was property. And it so happened that it came at such a right time in my life. I was 21. I had an opportunity to now go and work in America. And I went to America and I started saving money. When my friends were shopping, partying, I would be coming home during my vacations and I would be buying properties left and right. I read all the books, literally lots of books on property, that I got so many golden nuggets. But I went out there because I read them theoretically, and I went out there and I applied everything I had read from those books. And as a result of that, I fast forward 8 years later, when I got married with my husband and we came back home to South Africa, I realized that I had made a huge mistake because everything I had learned about property was theoretical. So now on the practical side of our portfolio here in South Africa, when we came back home, we had a managing company that was looking after all our properties. When we got home, they were nowhere to be found. They had ran away with all our deposits. We later found out that they were not even a legitimate company to start off with. Now, our tenants, having to witness what was happening, realizing that there was some sensitiveness going on there. And what they then did was they took advantage of the situation. They knew more about the law than we did. And they blatantly, some of them blatantly, refused to pay rent because what were we going to do to them? If you want to take me out, go to the sheriffs. It was heartbreaking. Have you ever been through a time where you've experienced evictions? If you've ever experienced eviction, I want you to type in chat now that you have experienced eviction. It is painful. It is the most painful thing you can experience in property, and it can bankrupt you. As a matter of fact, it's been statistically proven that majority of properties that goes through the sheriff's auction, majority of those properties that are auctioned off are what we call property investments gone wrong. So now we find ourselves now having to go to the courts, having to deal with attorneys, having to pay lots and lots of money so we can save whatever we still had. Because as we had our tenants staying in these properties, refusing to pay the rent, we found ourselves in a position that we had to now consider covering our living expenses while at the same time paying for the bond, paying for the rates and taxes on the property they're staying in, paying for their water and electricity. Because had we stopped doing that, that would have meant that we would be blacklisted. We would lose our good credit scores that we've been working for years to keep that intact. So there's one particular experience I want to share with you, where the sheriff had just evacuated one of our tenants. And the first time I saw this property, it was when it was a brand new build from a new developer. We literally got the keys and I handed over the keys to the letting agent, and then I flew off, went back to work overseas. And the next time when I saw this property was during this time after that tenant was evicted from that property. And I remember I was at the entrance of the house and I couldn't believe my eyes. And I've never ever cried so much like I did on that day, especially for property. But what made me so sad was when the tenant moved out, they didn't just only take their belongings. They took out everything, all the fixtures and fittings. Literally, we walked in there and all we saw was marks on the wall of what used to be. Now, my husband and I realized at that moment that you see in life, when you do things that you don't know what you are doing, you will pay for your high school fees. And we paid for our school fees that way in property, and that was a painful lesson that we've learned. But like anything else in life, there's hope. So there's a powerful saying that goes that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Now, our teacher came in a form of a property training educational company. It was a British company that came here to South Africa to educate South Africans on how they can invest in property offshore. A very good friend of ours invited us to this event. It was a free event. We went there. And as we were sitting in the crowd, I was looking at the speaker in front of the room, a British gentleman. And he was talking about mistakes that people are making in property. And guess who he was talking to? Us. And then he was talking about successes, like his successes, his journey. He was showing us his lifestyle, his lifestyle. And I thought to myself, I want to be like that guy. I want to achieve the same success in property, because at the end of the day, we found ourselves at crossroads. We were either going to go back and ask for our jobs back overseas or look for jobs at home. But that for me was not an option. That was not an option. I wanted a way out. I wanted to make sure that I get this right. And we took a leap of faith and we went through the training with this company. I took it all the way, and I went all the way to the UK. Went all the way to the UK, where I now enroll for a mentorship program there. And I had my own personal mentor, someone who held me by the hand. They taught me everything I needed to know about property investing, but not only just in South Africa, but globally. Global strategies that you can apply in any country around the world. My mentor, Aiden, taught me that when you're investing in property, it's not just only a side thing you're doing, a part-time thing you're doing. You want to invest in property and treat it as a business. Set it up from ground up as a business with proper structures in place. And that to build a successful property business, you need to have a team comprising of what we call your mastermind team. There are 12 key people that you need within your property investing for your property business to become successful. Things I didn't know. That when you're investing in property, it's never a one-man band. You need to have your own team. It's a business. He taught me that there's many ways for you to raise money for property other than going to the bank. You see, when I went for that mentorship, the only way I knew how to raise money for property was to go back to the bank. Either you pay in cash or you go to the bank. He taught me over 10 different ways on how you can raise finances to invest in property. Some of the strategies, you don't even need to put a single cent of your money towards those deals. And I'm going to share with you some of those strategies that I've done myself, my own deals that I've done, showing you how I structured them from A to Z without putting a single cent of my money. He also equally taught me about different strategies. I was only doing buy-to-lets. I was only buying properties for the tenants to rent out. He taught me about 15 most powerful property strategies you can apply in any market around the world. And those strategies, you can equally apply them here in South Africa as well, particularly during this time. So now I came back home. I was empowered. I was excited to get on the journey, but they did something even more powerful for me and paired me up with a local coach. So I had someone who was overseeing everything that I was doing. They said, okay, you've learned now. We've shown you everything that you need to see, but now we need to make sure you get the proper support. Someone overseeing and overlooking everything you're going to be doing, making sure you don't make mistakes. The first 8 years of me investing in property, I invested my own way and I lost money. And it took 4.5 years of working with the right people, having support, having tools, having structure in my business to reach a point of what we call financial independency, a position where the salary you're getting from your job is equivalent to the cash flow you're getting from property. So our lifestyle, our living expenses were covered by property. And then what we did, we didn't keep it for ourselves. We said, wow, okay, was it luck? Oh, wow, that was amazing. And then what we started doing, we then started teaching the same thing we learned with our families. I started teaching my mom. I got my father involved, my parents. Today, as I speak to you, my father's dignity has been restored. He owns a construction company. They literally are doing flips left and right. They live off property. And I'm happy that they're living better than most people who are full-time employed. And we then started teaching other people. I had students. I was taking on students. I also started getting my friends, my closest friends, involved, and they were equally seeing the same results as we were seeing. And that's when we realized, okay, we do have a powerful formula here. Why don't we set up something for South Africans, a training company, a training course that, and based on our personal experience, not theory, not things that you read on books, because I did that for 8 years and it proven not to work. That let's structure it in a way that we teach people from our personal experiences, while at the same time we're able to give them the support, the tools and the skills so they can be on their way to changing their trajectory of their own lives and their financial situation, where people can get to create their own economies instead of just relying on a job or the government, but you being in charge of your finances. What I love about property, it's physical, you can touch it, you can be in control of it, you can leverage from it, you can literally, and you can invest successfully in property through any other market, including what's happening right now in our market conditions, where lots and lots of those opportunities lie. So now, who is Sylvia today? Today, I've had the opportunity to be featured on multiple media outlets, TV interviews, radio interviews, but some of my most profound experiences I've encountered is by investing in myself, by working with some of the top teachers, global teachers. I've had the opportunity to work one-on-one with Les Brown. I was always shy. I wanted to learn public speaking, but I was an introvert and I was very shy, but I knew I wanted to step outside my shell. So what I did then, I enrolled for Les Brown's program. I spent time with Les Brown and I learned on how to speak publicly, and that increased my confidence. And today I look at my life, I go like, oh my goodness, I invested in my property investing. I also invested in my speaking. Today, I run a business that allows me to do those two things that I invested in. So I'm one of those people who wholeheartedly believe in the power of investing in yourself first before you invest in anything. I believe that whatever business you want to start, whatever it is that you want to do, to fast track that, to eliminate making mistakes, seek out people out there who are successful in doing what is it that you want to do. So I'm a big believer of that. So I've been touched by Les Brown. I also had an amazing opportunity to share stage with none other than Kim Kiyosaki. I had read all her books for years before meeting her. I also had an amazing experience of meeting one of my role models, Barbara Corcoran. She is the female, I call her the female property mogul of the USA, in the USA. She's like the female Donald Trump in property in the USA. She's also featured on Shark Tank USA. I also had an amazing opportunity that I invested in myself with, where I'm working with Lisa Nichols. If you know any of these people I'm talking about, I want you right now to type in chat, and you can mention all of them and share with us on how have they affected your life, how they impacted your life. So even at the current moment, I'm currently working with Lisa Nichols because I want to grow as a successful businesswoman, and my goals are larger than my own life. I want to touch more lives. I've literally dedicated my life to teaching more people about financial education, on taking control of their financial future. I don't want any child to ever go through what I went through, when we have tools and skills like these to empower our people and make our nation a better nation with people who are self-sufficient in creating their own economies. That's the burning desire. That's my mission in life. And to get where I need to go, I need gladiators out there. I need the unicorns to hold my hand and take me where I need to go. So this has been an incredible and an amazing journey. Now let's talk about why invest in property. There's many reasons why you would want to invest in property. Number one, the most successful people I've met, some of the wealthiest people in the world, do invest in property. It's been proven to be the most solid form of investing throughout history. When the markets are down, even though the prices will go down, we know over time the price values will go up. So it's the most stable way for you to literally put your money into, because you will see the growth of your money more than any other asset out there. Also, property gives you something powerful called leverage. Now, let's talk about this part. I love it the most, is that I want you to think about it right now where you are. You know your bank account, you know how much money you've got. How many properties can you right now buy using your money? How many properties can you buy using your own money? Now, I want you to type in chat. Let's type in chat. Let's have a dialogue. You type in right now in chat, how many properties right now can you buy using your own money? Now, the next question is, would you like to learn on how you can use other people's money to get rich and make them rich at the same time, so everybody wins? So it's a win-win situation. You see, something I've learned which was powerful, and this I learned from my property mentor. And he said this to me. This is actually what happened, is that I was sitting down with him and I was talking to him about how I wanted to invest in property, but I'm having these limitations. I'm having, finances. I don't have enough money for this. And as I was talking, he stopped me. He blatantly stopped me and said, Sylvia, I want you to stop right there. I want you to imagine in front of you there's a box, and I want you to take all those limiting beliefs and put them in a box, and I'm going to put a lid over the box, and I'm going to push the box aside. He said to me this. He said, Sylvia, here's what I'm going to do for you. Number one, I'm going to give you the education that you need. I'm going to give you the education. I'm going to give you the tools, and I'm also going to give you the skill sets. I'm going to teach you how to raise finance. I'm going to teach you how to spot the right opportunities. I'm going to teach you about finding investors. But the first thing you need to do is you need to go out there and find the right deals. Because the secret to investing successfully in property does not lie in you having enough money first. I've met lots of people who want to invest in property. And if this is you, I want you to type in chat, Yana, or type in chat what we call BOL. Breakthrough out loud. Type it in chat to say, you are talking about me right now. People who've said, I've always wanted to start investing in property, but I have not started yet because my issue is I don't have money. This is one of the biggest obstacles above all obstacles, people wanting to start. If you've been planning to start investing in property 5-10 years ago, and to today you still haven't started because the issue is money, I want you to know that we are here to support you, and we're here holding a safe space for you. So I want you to type in chat and say, Sylvia, BOL, breakthrough out loud, to say, this is me. And this was me at that time when I was talking to Aiden. And he taught me something profound, that it's not about how much money you've got in your pocket. It's never about how much money you've got in your bank account. It's about your ability to learn and how to raise finances so you can then go into these deals. But most importantly, it all starts with finding the right deals. When you have the right deals that will benefit you and benefit the next person, there's more people who will be prepared to jump on board and ride that boat with you. And that for me was my aha moment, because all along I thought I needed to have enough money to start investing, but no, you needed to firstly get the education. Once you've gotten the education, your first responsibility is to go out there and look for the right opportunities. When the opportunities are there, the money will follow. Beautiful. So now, why invest in property? Other reasons is that property offers you what we call unlimited wealth and security. Usually in our respective jobs where we work, there's what we call an income ceiling. You are an accountant, you earn 40,000 rands per month. That's it. That's how much you earn. Typically for people to get more money, they will either have to go and study further for higher degrees, or they will have to get a second job, or they have to work overtime. Again, if I'm talking to you right now, I want you to be type in chat and say, Sylvia, this is me. BOL, break out through our light, because I promise you this. And when you tap in chat, you'll see you're not the only one. Lots and lots of people, including myself. I've been there. Lots of people are there. So you are not alone. And that's why you're watching this video now. So you can learn skills and tools to change your situation. So now when coming to property, there is no income ceiling. There's no one in our government who says, Thabo, Tumelo, Pete, Jeff, you can only buy 3 properties and that's it. There's no rule like that. There's no cap on how many properties you can own, you can have, particularly when you know how to raise finances for those deals. Would you like to learn how successful property investors live their life? I'm going to share this one quickly for you. What successful property investors do is the following. They invest in themselves, they invest in their education, they learn first before going out there to invest in property. They learn how to find the deals, how to negotiate, how to run the numbers. Very, very important to know how to run the numbers. So it's never a thumbsuck. And once they've learned how to do all of this, they learn first before going to starting to invest. And once they've learned, once they've got the tools, the skills, and they've got the support, they then go out there and they start looking for the opportunities. They go out there and start doing things like capital flips, where they then get to make profits of 100,000, 200,000 in less than 6 months. And once they've got the profits, they then say, okay, I've made a profit of 100,000. With this 100,000, I'm going to settle my credit card. I'm going to pay for my child's school fees. I'm going to go on that vacation I've been planning on. They don't go and get a credit card for that. They don't save for years for that. They learn. They invest in their education to learn first. Because when you learn more, you will earn more. So this is what successful property investors do. This is their lifestyle. Whatever it is they do, they firstly go out there, buy property, the profits from property, those profits are what takes care of their lifestyle. This is why you want to invest in property. Another reason why you invest in property, this is number 4, is that property gives you what we call cash flow. We solely invest in property for cash flow. When I started investing in property, what I read from books and from other seminars, what they were saying, when you invest in property, you buy property today with the purpose of that property growing in value, and then in the next 10, 20 years, you can sell that property and get all your money back, get 100% returns. Now, who here, let's think about it. Who here or who do you know who can guarantee you and tell you what's going to happen to property 10, 20 years from now? Nobody. We look at history, trends, we look at the property clock, we look at all these measurements, but there's no guarantee. So when you're investing in property with that mindset, and that's how I did it for many years, for 8 years of my property investing was solely for that. And I got it wrong because I was focused on the future, like I'm buying now and in future I'll get something. That's speculating. That is not investing. The right way of investing in property is that you want to make sure whatever property you are buying, whether it's a buy-to-let, whether it's a multi-let, whether it's a student accommodation, whether it's a high-density property development, whatever it is you'll be investing in, you need to make sure that it makes you money from day one. That at the end of the month, once your tenant puts down the rent, from that rent, it should cover your bond, it should cover the water and electricity, rates and taxes, cover all the expenses and still leave you with a plus something. That's when you're investing the right way in property. Property is supposed to leave money on the table at the end of each month. And I want you now to think about it. If you're investing in property the other way around, where you invest in property with the hope or for capital appreciation, how are you going to reach financial freedom? That means you have to wait the next 10 to 20 years. Who's got 20 years to wait to realize the fruits from property? But when you invest to make sure that your property is cash flow from day one, this is how your property business, your property journey, your financial situation starts to look like. You start today. Let's say for those who've never invested, from the entry level, you start today, you buy property, you make sure it cash flows, and maybe it cash flows with 500. And one thing I love about property is that property offers you what we call continuous learning. In the next year or 2 years, you're gonna be like, okay, I think it's time for something more. Naturally, you're gonna feel like, okay, I'm ready for the next level. And then you say, okay, let me step into multi-lets. It will require you to step outside your comfort zone, because doing this will be scary. But is it important for you to do it? Is it important for you to do it no matter what, even if you're scared? If you believe it's important for you to still do it no matter what, I want you right now to tap in chat and say, yes, Sylvia, it's important for me to still do it even if I'm scared of it. Because that's where growth happens. And then the next time you go into a multi-let, you buy a house, you then divide it into multiple rooms. Make sure you get the right licenses. Make sure you apply for the right permits according to the province you're staying in. You want to do this legally. And then a beautiful thing with that is that you've got now a multi-let, a house divided, let's say, into 7 rooms, 8 rooms, and now you're renting by the room. Credit vetting. Make sure your tenants are fully credit vetted, full-time employed. You use your TPN to check their history as well. And when you put them in your multi-let, now instead of getting 1 rent, you're getting 7 rents. 7 times the rent. And now you start cash flowing 2,000, 5,000, 10,000. And then you start asking yourself this question: what is my salary? And you say, my salary is 20,000. If 1 multi-let gives you 5,000 in cash flow, how many of those do you need? Just 4 more. And reaching those 4 will mean now you are getting a 20,000 cash flow from property that now covers your living expenses. That's equal to your salary. And now when you're at that situation where your salary gives you 20,000, your properties give you 20,000, you're now left with what we call choices. You now have choices. You can now decide, okay, I will continue in my respective jobs because I'm passionate about it. Or you can choose and say, you know what? I want to buy back my time, because that's another important commodity we need to take into consideration, is buying back your time. Instead of you staying in that job for 60 years, until you're 60 or 65 years. If you now have property that you're in charge of, you're now building your own economy, you're now building your own property business, and it's now generating an income in a form of cash flow that's now covering your living expenses. And you don't want to stay in that job until you turn 65. You now have choices. You can now say, okay, I'm choosing to buy back my time. I want my time so I can spend it with my family. I want my time so I can dedicate my time, my precious time, towards the causes that are close to my heart. That's why you want to invest in property. The next reason you want to invest in property is this: anyone can do it. To start investing in property, you're not required to have any special entry levels, a degree, or be somebody. It doesn't matter whether you're 18 years old, finishing high school, going into university, or you're in university, or you are a mom, a single mom with 2 kids, or you're married, you're a husband and you want to build a legacy for your family, or you're now reaching retirement. And you're worried now that your your pension fund will not be enough to sustain your lifestyle or sustain you in the long term. It doesn't matter who you are. Property investing does not discriminate. Anybody can do it. Anyone can do it. All you need to do is make sure you get the right education to doing this. Now, this next one, and this is number 6 point, why invest in property. The one I love the most is it gives you something much more larger than your life, much more bigger than you. It gives you an opportunity to do something while you're still alive, not only for yourself, but for your family, for your children, for your community, for the causes that are close to your heart. You can set it up right now so it stays on and lives on beyond your lifetime throughout a lineage of all your legacy. That's what property can do for you. Now, let me ask you this question. I would love for you to tap in chat right now. Do you like the sound of the word leaving a legacy? If you like the sound of the sound of leaving a legacy. I want you to type in and say, I want to leave a legacy, and tell us, who are you leaving this legacy for? Is it for your children? Is it for the causes that you care for? Who do you want to leave this legacy for? I want you to type it right now in chat. Now, let's cross over and talk about the deals. I'm going to show you and introduce you to my very first baby deal that I did. I bought it at the auction. So I bought this property at the auction, and just to talk, as we're talking about the auction, I want to make a few highlights. Is a lot of people, when they buy properties at the auction, there's this misconception that you always get bargains. That's not always the case, because where people go wrong and make mistakes and lose money when coming to auctions is they go there with this misconception. And whereas I've gone to auctions, to particularly sheriff's public auctions, where I saw people in an auction room while the bidding is going, people overbidding and paying and buying property above market value prices. People also go to the auction and say, well, I'm going to go to the auction and I saw a property there. I'm going to buy it for 500,000, but I'll sell it for 300,000 and therefore make a profit of 200,000. That's an incorrect way of running numbers when coming to the auction, because the most important thing is you need to be aware that when you're buying properties, particularly at the sheriff's auction, that all the liabilities that are attached to that property, as soon as the sheriff of the court puts down the hammer, all that liability will fall over to you. Another mistake that people make when they're buying properties at the auction is people go then they just buy property without even seeing it. That's a no. Like, you never ever do that. A golden rule in properties: whatever it is you're going to be buying, you need to make sure you've seen it first. So now, going back to this deal, we bought this deal at the auction. As you can see, we purchased it at 155,000, and it was sold at 360, and we made a profit of 144,000. So how we structured this deal, I didn't put a single cent of my money. I came into this deal as a project manager. I came in with my time. I also had my team. So for me to be able to get all those numbers, all those upfront costs towards that property, I had a team that helped me gather all those amounts, because had I done it by myself, I would have probably made mistakes. So I made sure I had support. So all those numbers, we knew them before we bought at the auction. As a matter of fact, we always aim to try and buy properties before it makes it to the auction. That's even more better, because when you buy the property before the property goes to the auction, it's regarded a normal sale. So you don't inherit all the liabilities attached to the property, but by buying at the auction, you do. So that's why it's very, very important for you to run your numbers, because if you don't run your numbers well, you're going to lose money. You are going to lose money. So we structured this property, had an investor who came in with money to invest in this deal. We then sold the property at 360,000 and made a profit of 144,000 and change. In addition to that, when we were structuring this deal, our agreement on our JV partnership with the investor was that we were going to come in to structure this deal from A to Z. I was staying with my mastermind team, and we were going to sell the property and make sure he got his money back. Plus, in addition to that, he would make a return of 15% ROI. So he was happy with that, because 15% was much higher than what he was getting at the banks. And he walked away with 32,000. We walked away with 112,000. And yeah, that was lovely. So now I want you to type in now in chat, if you were to make a profit tomorrow of 112,000 rands, what would you do with it? Let's dream a little bit. Type in chat, right? What would you do with 112,000? Other than reinvesting it, because I know some of you will type in reinvest. So let's say from the 112,000, 20 to maybe max 30% of it was strictly for you to spoil yourself. How would you spoil yourself? And the remaining, you can then reinvest, or remaining, you can then settle liabilities or do whatever, but you need to leave a buffer for yourself to reward yourself, because we don't celebrate ourselves enough. We do so much, we don't celebrate ourselves. It's very important that you celebrate yourself. And I want you to type in chat now, how would you celebrate yourself with that 20 to 30% of this profit? Beautiful. Thank you. So now moving along, this deal was done in less than 5 months. It was structured in less than 5 months. And the reason we managed to achieve that is because we had done our market studies before we bought this property. We didn't just go and buy it at the auction. We made sure we learned about our area to make sure that our strategy worked in that area. And we did our numbers, and we knew the market trends as well. And also the ROI, the return on investment for this property, was at 67.1%. Now let's talk about the very next deal. Love this deal. No money down deal. Back to back deal. Love it. So this deal in particular, how we got to even find it is we ran marketing. So now this is something we teach on at our training. We go into so much detail, step by step, on how as a property investor, a successful property investor, you need to be marketing yourself. So people in your area get to know about who you are. Let's take into consideration right now what's happening in our market due to the effects of the pandemic. There's people who are right now are losing their jobs. There's people who have had salary cuts, and people who are looking to sell their properties. So they need to know who you are. So you can come in as what we call a property solutions provider, making sure that they fetch the right price for the property, but at the same time making sure that you will also be able to reap the rewards from it. So how we structured this deal in particular, we marketed ourselves in the area. We got a phone ringing, and it was a motivated seller who wanted to sell their property. We then stepped in, we met with them, we sat down with them. It was an elderly couple. They wanted to move out with their children. They wanted to sell the property. We then had an agreed price on the property for $380,000. In addition to that, we then requested from the seller to allow us 45 days to fulfill the offer to purchase obligation. Typically, when coming to offer to purchase, you're given 15 to max 30 days. We requested for 45 days, and they were happy to do that for us. So we then signed an offer to purchase with them. We then immediately got hold of our estate agents in the area, and we say, okay, we've got a property that we want to sell on, because our intention with this property in particular was not to hold on to it. We wanted to sell it on. So we told them, okay, we've got 45 days, actually less than 45 days to sell this property. Help us get buyers, and make sure whoever you get, make sure they come in with pre-qualifications, make sure they do have the affordability through the bank guarantees that they can afford this deal, because we don't have time to try with multiple buyers. And indeed, they went to work. And in less than 45 days, we managed to get a buyer who came on board. They were interested in the property. I then signed a second OTP with the buyer. So now I have 2 offer to purchases with me. So I took both those offer to purchases, hand them over to my own attorney, who then started working alongside the bond attorneys, the cancellation attorney, making sure all clearances were in place. Once everything was in place, he took all the clearances and both OTPs, and then submitted at the deeds office. Once this transaction was submitted at deeds office, a transfer took place where the property transfer was transferred from the seller's name into my name for a split second, and then over to the new buyer's name. And once the property was in the new buyer's name, the bank then attached the bond against the new buyer's account, and then they then transferred the monies over to my attorney's trust account. And from there, my attorney then paid the seller the agreed price of $380,000, and the remaining money came to us. So we then got $132,000, and we didn't put a single cent of our money on this deal. Now, I know right now you might be wondering, saying, no, but Sylvia, come on. There's no way. You should have paid for something. And yes, you're right. We should have paid for transfer fees, but here's the power of setting this up as a business and having what we call your mastermind team, is that because we use the same services providers for all our deals, so we had our attorney on a retainer. So we structured a deal with our attorney to say, okay, we're not going to pay you any monies up front. However, since the monies are going to flow through your trust account, and once you've paid the seller back the agreed price, then you can deduct your cost for the agent, and then give us the remaining balance. So that's how we got to invest in this property without putting a single cent of our money. Now, we didn't have money in this deal, but tell me, what did we have? I want you to type in chat right now. What did we have? We didn't have money to invest in property, but we had something. Yes, we had education. We had the knowledge of how to structure a deal like this from A to Z. Now, I want you right now to imagine having a knowledge like this. Now, imagine having a knowledge like this. How many of these deals can you go out there and do? Is there ever a stopping you? Can you do 2 of these at the same time? Is there a limit? Have you now gained a knowledge that you've got with you for the rest of your life, that you now know how to create money for yourself? A lot of people, the way they know how to make money is by saving from their salaries, is by working overtime. This is how you can create money for yourself. Literally, this capital flips, you're back to back, buying at the auctions and getting it right. This is how literally property can generate cash for you in the form of an ATM. So now this deal was done in less than 3 months because it's what we call a simultaneous transfer. A transfer was done from a seller all the way to a buyer, all in less than 3 months, and the returns on it are just mind-blowing. ROI, returns, is infinite. Infinite returns. Now you tell me, which investment do you know right now that will give you infinite returns? There's only a few of those that will ever give you that, and property falls in that as well. So now I want you to look at these deals. These deals you see now on the screen, they are the prices you see in front of these properties. They are not the sale prices. These are the profits that we've made from these deals. So some of these deals are mine, some belong to my student. So you see that property there, that the profits is over 940,000. That property in particular, we bought it just before the auction. So we bought it from a motivated seller before it made it to the auction. So when we look at it, when we look at this picture and we look at these properties, what we see is the following. I see boxes. I see boxes that are in a form of property, and these boxes are there that at the end of each month, they will leave you with cash in a form of profit. They will leave you with cash flow in a form of income. The most important reason why we invest in property is for the cash and the cash flow, because the cash and cash flow is what gives us the lifestyle. That cash and cash flow is what covers for our living expenses, pays for our children's school fees, make sure we have water and electricity and food on our table, make sure that we get to go on vacation. It makes sure that we get to leave a legacy for our families. It makes sure that we get an extra income stream, so you never ever run low. And most importantly, we do it for the lifestyle. We love to travel. We believe that we are a part of a human race. We are literally global travelers and love meeting different people and mingling with different people. So without property, we wouldn't be able to do that. So property has afforded us the lifestyle that we dreamt of one day, but now we're living it, and all due to property. It also is so powerful because you can literally leave it as a legacy. But for us, legacy is not just only what you leave behind, but what you do while you're still alive. You see, the most important reason for us and our why for investing in property is time. Buying back our time, buying up back our time so we can spend time with our little ones. We've got 2 babies, twins, a baby girl and baby boy. And the most important thing for us is giving them our time. Giving them our time so we can take them to drop them off at crèche, pick them up in the afternoon, go to their swimming lessons, just being present in their life. But most importantly, transferring all this knowledge onto them so they can do this for themselves as well. Even better, take care of the legacy that we're building for them. So that's a huge why, and everybody can do it. And now you might be wondering, say, well, maybe Sylvia, this is easy for you. This is easy for you and maybe you're doing it, but let me ask you this question. If someone sat you down and someone took their time to teach you and show you step by step how to structure deals like this so you can also live a life of abundance, live a life where you literally have access to everything, not only just money, but the happiness, the joy, the experiences, the contributions, and also changing other people's lives. Because think about it, if more good people in the world could become success and achieve financial independence, more good would be done. And that's the reason why you'd want to do this. So now, another reason why we're doing it, our biggest reason as well, is to give back, to pave it forward. Not only for ourselves, not only for our students, but for the next generation, for people who need this more than we do. So we believe in charity, we believe in giving back, we believe in making a difference where we can. As a company, one of the initiatives that we have is that all our master classes, all our trainings that we hold, we make sure that we include the youth. We go to universities, we go to high schools, we take children who comes from disadvantaged backgrounds, and this is how we start planting seeds. We start planting seeds for the next generation so they can be exposed to these things. Because for me to be where I am today, it's because somebody paved it forward for me. It's because I got exposed. It's because seeds were planted within me from the age of 21 years. And as a result, it started from that book that I read, and today I own a mega property business based from that book, what I read. So it's our mission, it's our calling. We believe that we're not just running a company with a mission, but we are a mission which happens to run a business. And this is what we do, and this is very close to our hearts, and this is how we're making the world a better place in our own way that we can. Now, would it be okay with you if I shared with you some of our success stories from our students who've came through our program? Type in yes if you'd like for me to share with you. Okay, thank you. So now let's look at the screen. We have Dr. JJ. I love Dr. JJ. We call him Dr. Property. So JJ came through our program, and in literally less than 6 months, he did 2 back-to-back deals. And he made huge profits that he started sharing with his friends, and word got out. He even got interviewed on Sowetan, sharing his journey and how he invested in 2 properties with none of his money and making huge profits. The second student we have, she's very close to my heart. Her name is Doris. Doris is she was my, at the time, now she's a mentor. She's one of our mentors. At the time, she was our student. I worked very close to Doris. Doris, she was working for corporate for many years as a senior manager, and she didn't have time. She felt like she was missing out on time for her family, and she was struggling to balance between her work life, her family life. Her work was taking so much of her time that her family's livelihood was affected, and she made a difficult decision to leave her job. And when she left her job, she happened to come across our training. She came to the training and she said, you know what, I've always wanted to invest in property. I just never had the time, but now I have the time and I want to give this my 100%. And did she give it 100%? Oh my gosh, she gave it 150%. Because when I started working with Doris, I gave her a challenge. I said, Doris, I'm going to teach you. We're going to spend time learning. I'm going to teach you everything you need to learn before we go out there and buy. We don't buy first, we learn first. And once she had learned, I said, now I'm going to target you because I'm your coach and I need to hold you accountable. So I said to Doris that I'm challenging you and I'm going to support you through this journey. Let's do 2 deals. How about 2 deals? Would you be happy with 2 deals? I said, okay. She said she'll be happy. I said, let's make a minimum of at least 150,000 rands worth of profit. And she said yes. And fast forward, in less than 6 months, Doris did 7 successful deals. She took that bull by the horn, and she made sure she gave it 110%. I love students who are coachable. I love students who take instructions and trust in the process. And she never looked back. And today, Doris, she's doing amazing things in the space of multi-letting, in the space of development. She continued with her learning, and we're proud to have her in her team now, in our team right now. Now, the very next gentleman, amazing. Tabo was an executive, like literally. When they say you climb the corporate ladder, he had made it to the top of the ladder, but he got sick and tired. He wasn't growing anymore. He wanted growth. He wanted to take all the knowledge that he had acquired through all those many years from his corporate experience, and he wanted that knowledge to work for himself. So he wanted the time to invest in property, to build his own business. So Tabo came through the program, and Tabo, his passion was more on property developments. He did do deals. He made profits over 500,000 in less than a year. But most importantly, he got into his first high-density residential development, which later he turned into student accommodation, and that project is worth 47 million rand.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a property developer.
Okay, and how long have you been in property business?
So it's been, since the time I started with Wealth Alliance, the classes, so it's been, say, just close to 5 months now.
5 months, okay. And how many deals have you done so far?
We've done over 5 deals in terms of capital flips and currently working on a big property development.
Okay, and would you mind if you share how much profit have you made so far?
So on the flips, made over close to 800,000. That's on the flips. The development is currently underway, but obviously we're hoping to make quite a very good return. The return on the development that we're doing in the first year, we'll be getting about 25% return on equity, so which is really more than double the average investment in your normal rental now.
So let's talk a little bit about our trainings. Our property educational trainings are purely based on what we call practical learning. We do teach on theory, but we make sure that 80% of our content is based on practical learning. So which means when you come into our training, everything you're going to be learning will be based on all our personal experiences. We'll be teaching you strategies, not just telling you about them, but showing you how we structure them from A to Z, showing you the deals that we worked on, how we ran our numbers. We're also going to make sure that you get a lot of value and a lot of time, because when you come to our trainings, you get all the support, we're there to serve you, but also you get an opportunity to mingle with like-minded people. So we'll make sure you get all the keys, all the tools, all the skill sets that you need to thrive now during this market conditions. So even post this pandemic, you can emerge powerfully. So this training is here to give you a reset. This training is here to make sure that you bounce back powerfully. But the real question is, are you ready for it? Are you ready for it? I want you to type in chat right now. Tell me I am ready for it. Okay. Now you're ready for this. Now, here's our offering. It's a 3-day training. We've never done a 3-day training before. We've always done 2-day training. So we now thought, you know what? Let's make it big and better. So we reposition our 3-day Thrive Now and Emerge Powerfully event to literally speak to what's happening right now in our economy, what's happening right now. So that you can learn about strategies that work during this time, so you can still be able to make profits, so you can still make sure that you get your properties to cash flow during this time. Let me tell you a short story. In 2008 was one of the world's largest recession, the biggest recession of my lifetime. And while the world was screaming doom and gloom, people were becoming billionaires. It has been statistically proven that there were more billionaires created during the 2008 world recession than any other time in history. Now, what did you do in 2008? Did you miss that wave? Did you miss those opportunities? Right now, what's happening in 2020, it's a similar wave as well, where the world is worried, and I'm cognizant of the fact that people are losing their lives, and I'm talking out of respect. And in the same tone, I'm also saying, as a property investor who wants to become what we call a successful property investor, in this market, there also lies huge opportunities. And one needs to learn first on how to spot these opportunities, on how to raise finance for these opportunities, on how to go to JV partners, on how to meet motivated sellers, how to structure deals, how to build proposal. Start it right now. This is the time to learn all of those things. I've met some of my students who go like, you know what, Sylvia, I'm going to wait a while. I'm waiting for the wave to come in so I can reposition myself. Other people are saying, you know what, I'm going to jump in. I'm going to go right now because we're having the lowest interest rates. The last time in South Africa we had interest rates at 7.25% was in 1973. I wasn't even born then. Also, what we're seeing in the market right now is that we're starting to see that prices are starting to come down, which means it's just a matter of time. There's going to be a huge wave where people are going to be selling their properties. People are losing their jobs. That is a reality. And instead of them losing their house and losing their house to the banks, to the sheriff, can you learn this? Can you learn this knowledge and get these tools and skill sets and reposition yourself and be in a position to can step in before the sheriff comes knocking at their door and say, I'm prepared to come and buy it from you, to make sure that we reach a point where this works for both parties, where you're able to settle the debts and still have a walk-away money, and I still get to buy your property, fix it up, and price it right on the market so I can get buyers, and I can also still make money from it. So now is the time. Now is the time. If you have a burning desire to change your life, if this period has brought about a reset in your life, an awakening to show you that, you know what, you can't just rely on one income stream. We've seen what's happening to jobs. We've seen what happened to our economy. Can you have your job and still learn something like this so you have something as a backup? If you think this is the right decision for you, I want you to tap in chat and say, Sylvia, I want to learn this. And the next question is that, are you ready to learn this? Because when is the best time to do anything? When is the best time to start learning on how to invest in property? Now. When is the best time to start investing in property? Right now. What's going to be your story 5 years from now? How are you going to share how you navigated through this time? Is it going to be a story of triumph with results? Or is it going to be a story of saying, I was scared and I hit myself? That decision lies with you. You see, I can stand here and I can teach you everything. I can teach you all day, but the decision lies with you. At the end of the day, you've got a choice to make. You can either choose the left route and be worried, be scared, and don't do anything, or you can choose the right route, which is a route where you take your financial situation in your hands. When you choose, even when it might be scary, to say, you know what? I cannot afford to stay behind. I cannot afford to not have a change in my life. I cannot afford to miss this wave of opportunity during this time, because I'm telling you, the best time to buy property as a successful property is right now. Now, I'd like to extend an invitation for our 3 days Thrive Now and Emerge Powerfully event coming up. We will be featuring our best and top property experts, such as Dunisani Manganye. Now, Dunisani Manganye, his love for property was instilled in him at the age of 14 years old. And by the time he turned 23, he had already acquired 7 properties. Amazing. And sadly, during the 2008 world recession, he lost all those properties because he didn't know how to handle what was happening during that season. And as a result of that, he sought out some of the top and best mentors in the industry to teach him on how to invest in property the right way. It literally took him 4 years, and post the 4 years, he managed to regain his strength, get his knowledge, and he was out there and he built his portfolio much bigger than what he had before the world recession. Today, Dunisani is a successful property developer. He develops estates. He's also in the high density space as well. He travels around the world as a speaker. He loves personal development. He's got lots and lots of golden nuggets and lots of personal experience he'll be sharing with you from his own life on how he achieved success from A to Z. We also have my wonderful and lovely husband, Milan Milosevic. Now, Milan Milosevic and I have been on this journey together for the last 15 years. We've been through it all. You name it, anything that has to do with property, we've pretty much have experienced majority of all of that. And it's going to be a great pleasure for us to share all of that with you. He is also going to put you in the right mindset of a successful property investor. He's an international property speaker. He's also an entrepreneur. We will also be joined as well. So we invited our friends to come over and join this event. So it's not just only us, but we want to give you the best of the best.
I always say that 5 brains or 6 brains are better than one. So we bring you some of the top property experts in the industry who are going to come and share with you some amazing knowledge and expertise on property, and all there to be serving you as well.
So now let's go through the agenda of what's going to be covered in that 3-day training. So, number 1, we're going to talk about finding deals. What are these deals? How to find them, specifically during this economic climate. Where are you going to find those deals, and how do you run market research? How do you run the numbers? Very important. You need to know how to run the numbers. You need to learn about what is an ROI, gross yield, and ROE, return on investment, return on equity. How do you work out those numbers? Because ultimately your success in property is heavily reliant on you knowing how to run your numbers. We're also going to teach you how to build up your property investing into a successful business, structuring it from A to Z. We're going to teach you how to negotiate. If you don't know how to negotiate, it is game over for you. You want to learn how to negotiate with the banks. You want to learn how to negotiate with estate agents. You want to learn how to negotiate with the motivated sellers as well. As much as investors, you need all of that and more. We're also going to equip you. We're going to empower you. We're going to teach you that there's more ways for you to raise finance to invest in property other than going to the bank. You're going to learn 10 most powerful ways for you to raise money to go on to your next deal. Again, we're going to teach you about who do you need. We're going to go into details. Who's your mastermind team? How do you grow your portfolio? Now, some of you might be already investing in property right now, but you want to know how to grow your portfolio. We're going to show you how you grow your portfolio. Again, at this event, we also are going to cover some of the most powerful property strategies. 15 most powerful strategies. We're going to teach you how to structure them from A to Z, which majority of those are applicable during this economic season. It's also going to be a great opportunity for you to network with some of the top property experts. We will be visited, and also we have slots that are going to be undertaken by some of the top residential developers who are going to be coming there to share golden nuggets about how to get into the student accommodation. Which financial institutions do you need so they can help you structure these deals, how to build proposals. So we're also going to be going more into details about that, how to structure residential development from A to Z, which teams do you need, how to finance them, how to negotiate. Oh my goodness, it's going to be a lot of fun of learning while you're going to be interacting and networking with like-minded people. So what we're doing for this event is we are literally taking the offline event, our live events that we're doing. We're bringing that whole experience online for you so you can have lots of fun. There'll be lots of entertainment there for you as well. So now, you obviously know there's going to be school fees to be paid. Obviously, I look at it as not even so much school fees, but an investment in yourself. So this is what the offering is looking like. We have a standard program. Now, within the standard program, we'll have a day before the event starts. We call it a sip and celebration day. Now, this is our enrollment day where we're going to have you in a online classroom, where we're going to take you through the agenda on what's going to be covered during the event. We're also going to be going through the technology that we'll be using, making sure you download everything, make sure you test everything while we're online, and making sure that you've got the right technology and you're on top of it before the event starts. So when coming the day of the event, the only thing you have to be thinking about that morning is I cannot wait to get started. So we're going to take away all the worries about technology, and we'll cover all of that on the Sip and Celebrate Day. We also have our 3 days virtual masterclass. This is going to be exciting, and what gets me so excited about our online masterclasses is we have literally mastered the craft of how to take the offline. We for many years we did offline events, so we've crafted that. But what we've done, we took it a step further when we pivoted our business, is we've taken the offline experience, bringing it online.
So when you're going to be in that classroom, it will feel as though we're all together in the same room. That's the type of experience we're bringing your way. So I hope you're going to be ready for that. 3 full days packed with personal development, packed with property, educational knowledge, packed with some of our top property experts who are going to be there to serve you and loving on you. And we're going to make sure you're having fun while you're learning. They're going to be long days. I need to tell you in advance, they're going to be long days. So on Friday, we start at 9 a.m. in the morning. We finish at 4 p.m. for all 3 days. So as a result of that, we also extend an invitation to your family. Bring them along. Have them with you in the room so you can all benefit. After all, at the end of the day, it's a combination of you, not just only you, but also for your family. So we'll be happy to have everyone in the family coming through for the workshop. We'll also have workbooks for you on each day. There'll also be access to a private Facebook group whereby in the 3 days we're all going to be interacting on Facebook, sharing ideas. You can ask questions. So it's going to be a very, very interactive event that we'll have for you. Now the value, just the value for this program under the standard package. As you can see right on the screen, it's at $13,997, and that's the value for this offering. We also have a VIP Platinum package. Now, this is for those who say, Sylvia, I like to go big and go home, and I want to have a front seat at this event. So what we've done for our VIP Platinum members is the following. You will still be a part of the Sip and Celebration. That's for everyone. Another thing I wanted to mention is that at the end of the enrollment process, going through the technology, going through the agenda and all those fun things, at the end of that, we're going to be toasting our way. We actually are extending an invitation for you to bring your favorite beverage as we'll be toasting our way, getting ready for the event. So that's the first day. Now, a second day, this is all before the event starts. We're going to have an exclusive gathering for our VIP Platinum members where we're gonna give you a sneak peek. You'll get a sneak peek of the content that's gonna be covered in the 3-day training. So you'll be getting a front seat, getting the sneak peek, getting to meet the speakers. We'll be celebrating you, and that's all happening before the 3 days. You'll also get a special gift as well that you'll be getting as a surprise. In addition to that, you'll also get the 3-day online masterclass. There's also another event for you. My word, we call it the post platinum VIP party. Now, this is going to happen post the 3 days. So essentially, if you look at it, you actually are qualifying for 5 different events. Sip and Celebration, you're also going to get the VIP party before the event starts. You'll get 3 days of the best content of the training, plus post the training, we're still going to party away, celebrating during the post platinum VIP party and getting to share some extra content for you there, that some of the things we might not have had a chance to cover during the 3 days, they will be shared during the post event platinum VIP party. You will also qualify for a 30-day exclusive one-on-one private coaching session. This gives us an opportunity to get to know you, to get to know who are you, where are you today in property, and how can we best assist you on this journey moving forward. So there's a lot of value in this because we get to find out about you, and we get to find out what are you looking for and how can we best assist you moving forward. Now, the value for this package, you're looking at $19,997. That's the value for this offering.
So now for my action takers, for those who say, Sylvia, I am ready. I'm ready to change my life. And the best time to do anything is right now. For those who say, you know what, this is for me. This is for me. So the price or the offer or the investment for this, it's not only $13,997. It's not even the $19,997. These are the value. That's the value you're going to be getting. But because we're doing this online and we're able to capacitate more people online, we've also thought that, you know what, let's also reduce the price because we're not paying for a venue. So the offer for this, and be ready for this, because we already have 200 signups for this, and we can only capacitate up to maximum 500. We're still going to be doing this for the next coming days, but for you, we're going to give you what we call an early bird special. This is our early bird special for my action takers who says, I'm ready to do it. And the offer is as follows. Now, for the standard package, you're looking at, instead of $13,997, we'll offer this to you for $1,997. And for the VIP Platinum members, instead of paying $19,997, that's the value they offer for us, you're looking at $2,997. Now, for those who says, you know what, I'm ready, look at the link, click on the link, and then go and enroll yourself right away and reserve this early bird special, because closer to the event, the prices are gonna go up. So if you wanna hold on to the best rate right now, this is what you're looking at, and that's how we managed to sell up to 200 right now. So now, again, let's go through the package again. You've got standard, you've got VIP. On the standard, you're gonna get the Sip and Celebration, and that's the enrollment day. You're getting the 3-day event, Thrive Now and Emerge Powerful 3-day event, access to the Facebook group at a rate of $1,997. The VIP, as you can see there, Sip and Celebration, VIP, 3 days, access to private Facebook group, 30 minutes private coaching exclusively for our VIPs at $2,997. And then let's open up the floor for Q&As. Now, you might be thinking right now, okay, Sylvia, I hear this, but is this the right time for me to be investing in property? The answer is a definite yes. This is actually the best time for you to be investing in properties. We're having the lowest interest rates, like literally since my whole lifetime. And in addition to that, we're seeing price dropping right now in the market. So in the coming months, and starting from now, even in the coming months, we're going to start seeing a surge of properties entering the market. You want to make sure you get this education so you can reposition yourself. Then you might be saying, okay, Sylvia, I've never invested in property and I don't have the money. Do I need to have experience? Do I need to have money to do this? The answer is no, you don't need to have experience. You don't even have to have money. As a matter of fact, it's even better for you not to have the experience, because you're at the right platform. You want to firstly start by getting the right knowledge before you go out there to start investing. And at the training, we're going to be covering in more details. Remember, as I said, we're going to teach on 10 most powerful ways for you to raise money going into these deals. And with the knowledge that we're going to give you, that will reposition you so you can navigate through this and make sure that you still get deals. Now, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. It's been such a pleasure. I hope you enjoy the event. And still continue tapping on chat. We're still going to be answering your questions that you have. But before we leave, I want to leave you with powerful testimonials from some of our students who've attended our events that were offline, and enjoy them. And I truly look forward to seeing you at our main event, a 3-day powerful event. Thank you. Take care.
Saying you want it bad will not get you results. But showing you want it bad will. Talking about it will not get you results. Doing it will. You see, in life, you have a choice. You can either be a spectator or you can be a participant. Spectators like to talk. Participants are all about action. You see, everybody talks a good game, don't they? But what separates the successful from the unknown is action. The successful, the champions of life, they take massive action. They don't hesitate. They don't procrastinate. They do not fear failure. They fear being average.
I really have been given the confidence of getting started in a very, robust area of business. The details, really, those were, what gave me the, full confidence. All areas covered, literally from, A to Z.
I think it was very insightful. It brought in a lot of new perspectives. I've had a bit of experience in property, but I didn't know a lot about about most of the things that I learned about. So there were a lot of innovative ideas that I learned in the seminar.
Okay, and what is the one thing you take home after this weekend?
determination. And I think going forward, I know that I can do it.
Was enlightening, from knowing absolutely nothing at all about property to knowing something substantially more than my parents, my social circle. It's been great. I'm really looking forward to continuing the journey.
Well, it's the first session I've ever come across, and I've been with other, property seminars, but it's the first session where the details are explained, the other people's money is explained, the numbers are explained, and it's explained in an easy way to understand.
I think it was fantastic. I think it's one of the best seminars I've attended, and this is what I was looking forward to. I wanted to have a local company, that can offer me like a full service. I was looking for somebody that can be my support. I was looking for somebody that can provide me with a power team where I know that, I'll just get a deal. I know there'll be somebody that can support me all the way.
What I learned from here is from what Sylvia has said. Take massive action, and fear is not an option. It's just a stepping stone to success.